travel the continent with Allman Dancer's Wide World Carnival, looking for hints of the library's enemy, seeking out potential allies. In the intervening years, however, he had concentrated his own efforts on training the repository's sorcerers, on preserving communications with Magister Facile in Belleger, and on keeping watch. He had not urged Setungabwe to attempt the mountains until he knew the enemy was coming. Now, the enemy was close. If Master Ngabwe had failed, the librarian's entire defensive strategy would fall apart. Setungabwe and his ever-changing train had come to the repository several times in recent years, but not on an occasion as fraught as this one. Not since he had indirectly delivered Prince Bifalt. 20 years ago, however, Magister Mero had had other stratagems ready if his plans for the prince failed. Now, he had no idea what he would do if the caravan did not accomplish its purpose. An irascible man at the best of times, Sir Jane Mero scowled at the plateau, as if the shapes he discerned made him furious. Still, the bedraggled line of conveyances continued to come. Tired oxen tugged more carriages onto the high porch of the library, bringing teams of guards and scouts, as well as mechanicians and trained laborers. The condition of the vehicles gave further proof, as if the librarian needed it, that they had emerged from hostile terrain. But not from human hostility. The state of the wagons did not suggest battle damage. Before the caravan set out, Master Ngabwe's interpreter, Chui, had reached an understanding with the Quolt, the strange mountain folk who could have barred the wagon's road. In exchange for a trivial portion of the last repository's abundance, the Quolt had promised safe passage, guidance, and aid. They must have kept their word. No, the hostility was that of the wall mountains themselves. They were so tall that even in summer they remained clogged with ice and flailed by snow, scourged by winds only granite could endure. Granite, and, apparently, the Quolt. Centuries ago, when the guardians of the library had chosen to build their last repository here, they had believed the peaks and elevation and weather would protect them from any assault at their backs. Now, of course, they knew better. The Quolt had testified to that. But Magister Mero refused to consider the hardships and dangers the caravan had endured. The library's survival was his driving obsession. He already had too many piercing anxieties, and each of them felt like a fresh sting. Then he made out the first of the immense conveyances for which he had been waiting. Gusting steam from their nostrils in the mild air of the heights, 6 Illyrim hauled their burden onto the plateau. They were huge, tusked beasts, massive as bullocks, shaggy as sheep, the only animals muscular enough to pull the weight of their long wagon with its enormous load, and tough enough to keep going day after day. That load was tightly sheeted in canvas to protect it from rain or hail or snow or lesser rockfalls. But the librarian knew what it was. Setungabwe had taken 3 such wagons into the mountains. 1 had returned. But while it settled into its place on the plateau, more Illyrim impinged on Sir Jane Mero's senses. More beasts dragged their wagon into view. Like the first, their burden was sealed in canvas, stoutly tied, and undamaged. Rubbing his sightless eyes, he allowed himself to imagine that where there were 2, there might be a third. And when the third appeared, he allowed himself a moment of relief. Unfortunately, the return of the caravan did not indicate success. It demonstrated only that Setungabwe's people had made the attempt, and had survived with their massive catapults intact. To know the truth, the blind librarian would have to hear it. He could have sent a messenger to get the caravan master's report, but for several reasons, Sir Jane Mero wanted to hear Master Ngabwe's tidings in person. He and Setungabwe had dealt with each other for a long time. He owed the housebound master the respect of a personal visit. In addition, he trusted